sponsor, Raid
Raid.
Shadow
Raid.
Legends.
Thanks
So much
to Raid.
to Raid Shadow Legends.
Raid Shadow
Raid
Legends?
Shadow
Raid
Legends.
Shadow
Legends.
Legends. Raid Shadow
I know
Legends.
you already know about Raid Shadow Legends.
You've seen the promos everywhere, so you decided to give into the hype. You downloaded Raid, you enjoy the grind, the graphics are cool, between the events and everything it keeps you really involved, but now you're starting to get into the meat of the game. Things are starting to get more difficult, the complexity of everything is starting to fry your brain, and you find that you just need a little bit of direction, a little bit of help. So we're going to go ahead and tackle one of the major aspects of the game. Check this out. Okay, so you're new to Raid, you're in the early part of the game, you've went through campaign, you built up your 6-star farmer, now it's time to focus on clan boss. What do? What kind of heroes do you use? And how do you build them to really maximize your damage for the clan boss? These are the questions that I'm going to answer in today's video. But before I answer those questions, let's learn a little bit more about the clan boss. In today's video, I'm going to cover easy, normal, and hard clan boss, as I feel that those are the ones that are more accessible to early game players. So immediately looking at them, you can tell that they have pretty massive HP pools that you have to bring down to bring the clan boss down, and that usually takes an entire clan, maybe a few select players to take down a clan boss. So what's your goal in a clan boss fight is to more or less do as much damage as possible while surviving as much time as long as possible, so that way you can really maximize your damage per key. You get 4 keys a day, and you want to try and stack up as much damage throughout those 4 keys to pass these damage thresholds. As you can tell, at each damage threshold there's a chest, and for easy the maximum chest is the warrior chest at 1.1 million damage. For normal it's the knight chest at 3.6, and for hard it's the guardian chest at 11.6 million damage. So essentially you want to do as much damage per key to get this top chest, and if your entire clan brings down the clan boss, you get two of these chests for the damage threshold that you're at. So other than that, like what goes into a clan boss team? Essentially, there's a few comps that are ideal for clan bosses. You have what's called a speed dot team, which is a speedy team that does damage over time debuffs, which are poison and HP burn. You have a counterattack team, which are usually very fine speed tune, so that way you put counterattack, AoE counterattack on your entire team, and so every time they get attacked, they counterattack and do damage that way, as well as incorporating dots into your team. Another team composition is called extender team, which is you take the damage over time debuffs, poison and HP burn, and you add extenders to your team to really extend those debuffs and make them last as many turns as possible. So those are the general comps that you can use. What are in those comps? You have damage over time debuff heroes, dot heroes, which are poison and HP burn. You have your speed booster or your counterattack hero or your extender, and then you have some sustain, like healers, buffers, just heroes that bring general utility to the survivability of your team. So now that we've learned a little bit more about the clan boss and a little bit more about the roles and comps that you can use versus clan boss, let's go over and check out the team that I'm going to use today. So we're here at the team that I chose to use today. The strategy that I decided to go with was the speed dot composition. It's fairly easy to put together with many heroes to cover the roles, and it's pretty consistent versus the clan boss. So what do you need in a speed dot team? When it comes down to making a speed dot team, what you need is a couple of damage over time debuffers, such as Juliana and Kale. And then you need a speed booster, such as Apothecary, and then some other utility or support heroes in your team. Now, as you get into clan boss, you will learn that you need an attack down hero, and that's what Bog Walker's in here for. So now let's go over the heroes more individually. Okay, so here we are at the gearing screen for our team. Before I get into the actual gear and everything, I want to go over the stat requirements for clan boss. When you're building your team, you essentially want to keep in mind that you need to reach certain levels of stats to really be effective at certain levels of clan boss. For easy clan boss, you want about 10,000 HP, 1,000 plus defense, 120 speed, and pretty much any level of accuracy to land your debuffs. For normal, you want 15,000 HP, 1,200 plus defense, 130 plus speed, and 50 or so accuracy to ensure that you land your debuffs. And for hard, it's 20,000 HP, 1,500 plus defense, 140 or more speed, and 100 to 120 accuracy to ensure you land your debuffs. As you can tell, landing your debuffs is going to be very important. So, looking at Kale first and foremost, um, when it comes to your damage dealers, you really kind of want to rely on the fact that they can do adequate amount of damage, not for the damage numbers themselves, but to acquire heals through the lifesteal set. So as you can tell, I got a lifesteal set on Kale, and to make sure that I reach that accuracy level, because he is a dot hero, he is a debuffer, you want to make sure you land them debuffs, I got an accuracy set on him. So our accuracy is about 130. That's solid for the hard clan boss level. That's the highest clan boss level we're going to attack today. I got 145 speed. That's very nice. About 20,000 HP and about 1,200 defense. So we've reached all of our stat thresholds. That's the important part. Like, regardless of how you build them, whether you use a speed set here or, whatever, you need to make sure that you reach those certain levels for the clan boss level that you're fighting. And I will go over their main stats for their bottom artifacts. The top artifacts, if you're not aware, they always have the same main stats: defense, HP, and attack. But your bottom artifacts can change. So when it came to building Kel, I wanted to make sure that I reached a high enough HP level. So I have HP gloves, HP chest, and they have a little defense substats, the attack, crit damage. Those things don't really matter, but they have some sustained substats. And you want speed boots with a little bit of accuracy on them. Now, don't forget about glyphs. You can always use glyphs to help you, reach these levels. Keep those things in mind. And when it came to my jewelry, I kind of threw in what was, whatever would help my sustain, and I try to also stay lower level so it's, more easily obtainable for early game players. You can reach these stat requirements through campaign gear as long as you have 4 to 5 star gear with the proper main stats. You might have to grind for that, but it's worth it. And then I've got a defense a defense necklace here. It could have had accuracy on it, but I didn't go that deep into looking for optimal gear. But all in all, the most important thing is that we reach these stat thresholds, these stat levels that we need them for. So remember, when it comes to your damage dealers, life steal, accuracy, speed, but the main thing is however you build them, you want to make sure you reach these stat thresholds. And as you can tell with Juliana, we did the same. We went HP or life steal with accuracy sets, and we've got 150 accuracy, more than enough speed, 160. She's going to be a very fast person for us, and plenty of HP and defense. And her jewelry is HP, just sustain. You want to stack on that sustain. Now, when it comes to your apothecary, your high Katoon, your speed booster, what you mainly want to fit them out in is going to be speed gear. I did throw an HP set on here because I needed the crit rate set. Didn't have crit rate gloves for the speed set. And I did that because Apothecary's heal can crit, so I wanted to make sure I utilized that. But I went crit rate, defense, and speed. Always speed. And you really kind of want to make him just as fast as possible so he can stay with them speed boosting the team and his single target heals. And since he doesn't have debuffs, he didn't need any accuracy. I got plenty of HP, defense, speed, and crit rate for Apothecary. Now, as far as our other utility hero, our other support role, you pretty much, it's kind of dependent on the hero, but essentially you want to build them the same as you would your Apothecary. Plenty of speed so they can keep knocking out their skills, and keep them cooldowns low, and building HP and defense stuff like that. I got defense gloves on her, defense chest, an HP set, speed set. She's got over the 20,000 HP, 1,500 defense, so she's gonna be able to survive long enough. And she does have the attack down on her A1, so I gave her a little bit of accuracy, but essentially just the speed and sustain is what's most important for her. And then we're gonna go to our attack down hero, Bog Walker. Now he is defense scale like most attack down heroes, So he can build heavy sustain with his defense and take less damage, and he can hit fairly hard. So putting a lifesteal set on him is a smart thing, as well as covering the accuracy need. Now I did go a little heavy on his stats. That isn't exactly necessary, but that's mainly because it was hard for me to find low level gear that would be something obtainable through campaign without actually going to farming it. um, so his accuracy is pretty high, his defense is adequate, his HP is adequate, and his speed is about where we need it. He didn't need the crit rate or anything like that, but I threw him on him anyways just to kind of show like he can keep himself alive. And if you can throw crit rate on him while keeping his defense and stuff high, then that would be suggestible. So all in all, as you can tell, we hit the stat thresholds, the stat levels for the hard clan boss level, and even pushed above them in some areas. And that's more or less what you want to aim for. As far as the jewelry goes, you just kind of want to stack on sustain. I got accuracy here, so that take that off. That would lower us a little bit down to early game levels, but essentially it's mainly about reaching those levels. Now when it comes down to a debuffer or a dot hero, if you need be, you could go HP gloves and an accuracy main stat chest piece. Just remember, when it comes down to landing them debuffs, your accuracy is very important. um, so all in all, this is about what we have for our gearing of the heroes. It's nothing too special. Don't be thrown off by the rarity of them, because honestly, I got kind of some crappy rolls on a lot of these pieces that doesn't even matter. This is nice. That headpiece was nice. Actually, is nice. And your clan boss level is going to kind of require your best gear. Your I'm sorry, your clan boss team is going to require your best gear anyways. That's where you're, at least in my clan and us, we focus on clan boss. But all in all, this is what we got. This is kind of the breakdown of how you would build these teams. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you my masteries. Now I didn't invest too heavily into the masteries on any of the on the team, because when it comes down to masteries, you don't want to get too far down the mastery tree before you get high up in the Minotaur stages. So I kept it to where it was easily accomplished by early Minotaur levels. Stage 8 to 10 maybe is where you could easily farm up enough scrolls without investing too much energy to acquire these masteries. Now, the offense tree for your debuffers, the beginning of the offense tree for your debuffers and your dot heroes isn't too important. Add a little crit rate. This is a crit damage mastery. These increase damage. Depending, this one will heal you. But what's important is getting down to this tier 6 War Master. It does additional damage per skill based off of the enemy's max HP, similar to like what a dot debuff like poison or HP burn does. And it's an addition to whatever else that skill does. These are important debuffs. Giant Slayer is similar, only it has a smaller chance to proc based off of the number of hits in the skill itself. Now I'm not going to go over which one's better for which heroes. There's plenty of videos out there for that, but essentially that's why we went down the offense tree, is to prepare ourselves to getting these tier 6 masteries. But the support tree for your debuffers and your dot heroes is very important. This one will add accuracy. This one will add accuracy when none of the skills are on cooldown. And this one's going to increase turn meter when the debuffs expire off of enemies. So, things like these, building your masteries up, even in early game, just these first few levels becomes very important. Now, I will show you, Juliana has something very similar as well. She has the accuracy, and we're preparing to go down here to the tier 6. And then when it comes to your support heroes like Apothecary, we've got him prepped up with the heals. This one is similar to this one, as it increases turn meter. That instead of when debuffs, it's when buffs expire on your heroes. So really keep that turn meter churning, keep that speed up. That's important for a speed dot composition. And then we'll cover Bogwalker, who actually he requires the accuracy as well, but he also has a defense up buff that he applies to the team. So I gave him the turn meter booster for the buffs, and preparing to go down the offense tree for War Master or Giant Slayer. And that's more or less it for the masteries. Just kind of it helps add more benefit to the skills that's already in their kit. So I just wanted to cover that a little bit. Now that we went through the build, the masteries, what roles you need in coming up with a clan boss team. Now I'm going to go ahead and go into some battles and show you, kind of how the team works. Okay, so here we are at the clan boss page, and I'm not going to do easy because easy and normal kind of run similar, and the explanations will be pretty much the same. So I'm gonna go ahead and attack normal here, and let me sub out my old team here, my usual team. And what we're going to do when you're setting up your team is you really want to pay attention to the aura. Apothecary, he's got a dungeon aura. Juliana, she's got an arena aura. Um, Bogwalker, he also has a dungeon aura. But Kale, who is donned as the best starter to pick, he's got an all battles HP aura. So we're going to put him in lead. And then we're going to build the rest of our team around it. We'll throw Bogwalker in there, Juliana, Reliquary Tender, and Apothecary. So there's our team. And we're just going to go ahead and get into the match. Now, I'm not going to run the whole battle. I will skip most of it out. But I'm going to run the first few rounds to kind of show you what is needed to really kind of be effective here. So going over their kits and kind of figuring out what they're here for. Reliquary Tender isn't going to be too useful at the beginning. She is mainly there for sustain and heal. When it comes to our dot heroes, Juliana and Kale, we really want to pile them dots on as much as possible. She does require crit rate, so she crit on him and placed two poisons. With Apothecary, we're going to do a speed boost. With Bogwalker, he's our attack down hero, so we want to try and land that attack down. It didn't actually proc this time. And Kale, we're going to use his 4-hit poisons. Ooh, we didn't actually get not one poison off of Kale. That's kind of rough there. All right, so with Reliquary Tender, we're going to use her debuff cleanse and continuous heal buff to kind of try and keep up the heals as much as possible. With Juliana, we're going to apply her HP burn, and we're just going to kind of consistently keep trying to churn out. Now, I'm going to spam Bogwalker's A1 to really land that attack down. We need that to get applied and stay on the clan boss as much as possible. We'll even use it with Reliquary Tender. Having attack down up 100% of the time is very important. Now, as you see, she crits, she boosts her turn meter. That's very important. We are running a speed dot team, so we want to keep the speed high and the dots flowing. There we go. We finally got Bogwalker's attack down. We're going to keep that up now, hopefully. And every time it reapplies, it will bump it back up to the maximum amount of turns. There is also a sniper debuff that will help them land or a sniper mastery that will help them land these debuffs. Here we go. We got a poison from Kale. Our speed boost is back up with Apothecary. Let's go ahead and throw that on him. And we'll A1 out until Juliana's cooldown skills come back up. We will use Bogwalker's A2 now to add the defense up to our team. That's fairly strong right there by itself. And actually, we are about to. I would use her cleanse and continuous heal buff now, but we are actually about to come up on the single target stun, so we want to save that. And Kale got stunned. Now, we didn't actually get the chance to cleanse him before then, but that's what Reliquary Tender's cleanse or remove all debuffs skill is for. So we're going to keep churning this out. Juliana's poisons are back up. Land a couple poisons. Since we couldn't cleanse, we'll go ahead and cleanse now and keep that continuous heal buff up. He reapplied the attack down. It sent the turns back up to 2. And this is kind of what you do. You just want to keep applying those debuffs. We're slowly building the debuff bar. And keeping the speed and heal and sustain and all of that up. So we're applying the attack down, the speed buff, anytime that we can. Here's the Kale. Now here's a turn to redeem Kale for himself. He didn't apply one poison off this last time. This time we've got one. I'm not exactly sure why it's fully booked up, but he should be playing at least 2 or 3 on an average. So it looks like I'm having a bad RNG run here. But we've got the attack down, staying up. That's super important. Between that, the sustain, and just applying as many poisons and HP burn as possible, that's essentially what you want to do. Now I'm gonna go ahead and jump forward to towards the end of the battle, and so that way we can see it kind of finish up and see the damage we've done. Okay, so now we're here towards the end of the run. Reliquary Tender, she got taken out on the stun hit, but as you can tell, we've been able to keep the debuffs up on the debuff bar. We'll apply the attack down right now. Ooh, missed it. And see, when you let attack down fall off, it can really, he really like bumps up his damage by a lot. So you really want to keep that up. That becomes more important the higher level clan boss levels you are. Um, but we're keeping the debuffs up. We are there we go. 3 poisons from Kale. There we go. Good job. Get that attack down. Ah, no attack down. And nobody needs healed. So you just kind of really want to keep your survivability up and keep applying those debuffs and keep the debuff bar filled. By the way, you can only have up to 10 debuffs up here, so keep that in mind. Um, make sure you always keep the attack down up and stuff like that. We'll put a heal on. Um, put a heal on Apothecary. And we still don't have the attack down up. We need that. Oh man. Bogwalker's really giving me a run for it here. Kale, get a little bit of HP back on him. And it looks like we're about to finish this up. So there you go. Now we did great damage for normal clan boss. This is going to take a little bit of a hit come the next run that we do. But as you can tell, Juliana and Kale did massive amounts of damage because of their dots. Apothecary and Reliquary Tender, they did significant amount of heals. That's the green ones down here, as well as Juliana did on her own attacks off the lifesteal. So, you really want to keep the heals up. You want to keep the dots up. And he was here for the attack down, which even though there's not a stat necessarily for it, it added sustain to the team. The team was allowed to survive longer by taking diminished hits and just staying alive. All right, now we're going to do one for the hard clan boss and kind of see what the pinnacle of the early game clan boss looks like. All right, now here we are at the hard clan boss. This is the true test here. Now hopefully I have a little bit better RNG here and things kind of work out a little smoother, but I see that we should get a significant amount of damage still. Remember, the max chest for hard clan boss is 11.6 million damage, and we have 4 keys. So to make sure that we 4 key it every day, we need to pull at least 3 million damage. So that's going to be our goal. That's what we're going to aim for. We have proper stats on everybody. We have a good team here. Attack down, which is going to be very important in this battle. Now let's get into it. Again, I'm not going to run the whole battle. I'm going to essentially just kind of run the beginning, show you essentially the same thing as last time, but we will see a larger impact off of making sure we land these debuffs that attack down, keeping the dots up, things like that. All right, Kel gave us 1 this time. And he, as you may be able to tell, he does significantly more damage per hit, even starting out. So want to make sure we keep them heals up. And Reliquary Tender might not be the best, but between her, the best healer, but between her and Apothecary, they keep everybody up pretty decently. Okay, so come on, give me that attack down. There we go, Bogwalker with the attack down. So already, he's only, it's only been 1 round. We're going into the second clan boss round. We've got 6 debuffs up. That's definitely not bad. Keep the damage going. Let's keep the speed up. Let's keep the heals up. Sustain. What it's all about. All right. So he gets another hit here. Since we have the attack down up already, we're going to go ahead and utilize Bogwalker's defense up and keep it moving. Keep it going. That's the main key, is to just do as much damage, survive as long as possible, and go as often as you can. Okay, so we've got Kale stunned here. Reliquary Tender should be coming up with her cleanse, and there it is, the cleanse and continuous heal. So we've got that. And more debuffs. All right, so again, I'm going to jump towards the end of the battle here, and we can see how much damage we was able to do. Keep them poisons going. Keep them debuffs up. Attack down. Nice. There we go. All right, now let's just go ahead and jump to the end here. Okay, we're starting to get to the end of this battle. RNG ain't been too generous with us here, but we was able to keep the attack down up. So we've done pretty nice as far as that goes. Now, we are coming up to the point where we're about to get one shot and stuff like that. Now, as you can tell, the clan boss targets with a single target stun the person with the lowest HP. So we're going to go ahead and try to utilize our revive here on Kale. And hopefully we can get a good heal in to really keep our team alive. We are going to heal up Kale. Want to keep our dot heroes and our attack down heroes up so that way they can keep putting out damage. Here we go. There's our one shot. And look, we actually got almost the same amount of damage as we did on normal. So like really keeping up them debuffs, even if you don't keep a full debuff bar, it can be really impactful on your damage. You know, we've got the heals out here. Apothecary was here for the speed. She got plenty of heals. Juliana did a lot of heals on herself. Significant amount of damage. Bog Walker actually didn't do too bad of damage himself. He's defense scaled, so he was able to put out some good numbers. And he kept his attack down up most of the fight. Kale, he got in his damage. So as you can tell, you know, like each hero has their own individual role. And even though if they're not contributing a lot of damage, they still play their part and help the entire team do more damage. So that's about it for the early game clan boss guide. If you guys would like to see, you know, maybe more in depth as far as the comp, you know, certain comps go, whether it be counterattack, speed dot, extender team, or anything like that, or even go higher up to brutal clan boss, nightmare clan boss, ultra nightmare clan boss, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I will definitely make sure to put out some more videos like this. I just felt like the early clan boss is, you know, somewhere where a lot of people are not quite sure what to do, and I really wanted to get this out for the community. So, you know, if you think that I'd be able to maybe shine a little light on other aspects of the clan boss or certain team comps or anything like that, please let me know. Until next time, happy grinding, and may the shards break in your favor.